Welcome, you guys. I have a cup and a half of flour. Get it stirred through in the bowl. So I can mix the seasonings in. Get your seasonings mixed in a little bowl all together. Just throw it in all together. Like your Cajun seasoning or your soul seasoning, salt, pepper, a little bit of brown sugar, anything you want. You put it in there, whatever your taste buds are asking for, in a meat flavor. You make it Chinese, you can make it Italian meatloaf style, any type. But today we're making jerky. Salt, 1/3 teaspoon. Now we're going to get into the mixing all together with the flour and your spices. Spice so nice. I love spices. Yep, I do. Yeah, spice is nice tasting. Get your herbs out. Now we're going to get the wet ingredients. And what I did was ground up some mushrooms because I was out of mushroom powder. And what I did was take 1/3 of my water out. There's the wet product. We're putting it all in. Put water in your mushroom that you ground your mushroom in the cup. Get all that extra mushroom in there. Yeah. I need a new cup. Get that all whooshed around in there to get all that extra mushroom. Any mushroom would do. Whatever's your favorite. Portobello, shiitake, anything. Just try to stick to organic. If you need more water, keep putting a little more water in. If you got to get more water, get more water. If you had to add a little more flour, go ahead. You don't want it too sticky and you don't want it too dry. You want to clean up the flour with the bowl. So you're going to have to use your hands. Adding more water. Mix it around. Mix if you need to add more flour. Oh, I did add a little bit of baking, cornstarch into this. And I'm going to add a little bit more flour. It's still kind of sticky. I still mopped up my bowl. It still needs a little more flour. And this is unbleached flour. Red Mill Bob's. And you mix it around. If you have to use your hands, use your hands. You can use your hands. There we go. We're mopping up the bowl. Cleaning up the bowl. Getting us a good clean bowl. You just kind of roll it around and knead it and kind of fold it. You don't want it perfect like a bread loaf. You just want it to knead it. It doesn't have to be a pretty knead. It can be a sloppy knead because your meat's not perfect. Unless you're making a turkey loaf or... Actually, it's a turkey like... It kind of tastes like turkey, but it's not. But it, you know those chicken and turkey in a box that you used to buy a long time ago? Well, that's what that kind of turns out like. But this is dark meat jerky. You can make this into a roast. You just plump it up into a roast and boil it for an hour and 30 minutes and then bake it for an hour and 45 minutes. With all your onions and celery and carrots or whatever you choose to use. It's up to you. And add a little more flour and knead in too. Just knead until you can trust. You don't want it too sticky and you don't want it too dry. So this feels like it's going to be the last flour down. Knead it in there and mop it up in the bowl. Just mop it. Clean up that bowl. And kind of give it folds and push into That way you could peel the meat apart. And I'm just giving it a little roundabout knead. Get it going there. Nice and good and firm. You get your oven ready. You want to go ahead and turn it on with your vegetable broth and your onions, bell peppers, sweet peppers, garlic if you like, basil, rosemary. You can go crazy if you have fresh or chopped herbs or seasonings. Go right ahead. Do what you like in the water, because that's your vegetable base, and you save that water later and put it away for another meat base. I love cooking meats in beet juice. It makes a good meal. Here's the water. It is on very low, and you put in the meat. You see it bubbling like that? That's when it's going to get covered, and you turn it down a little more lower and let it cook for about an hour and 30 minutes. Very low with all the onions and such. You got it going on for that, so you can just continue on with the goodies. And now I'm making Chinese noodles with stir-fry vegetables, and that's soy water is what I boil the raw noodles in. And then I get all that ready. And then when I cook the chicken, real chicken for the boys, and I put it in there with vegetables for them and their noodles, and I use some of the vegan meat that I cooked and just kind of make chunks. It tastes like beef or pork or whatever. It has a meat texture to it. It's really good. But sometimes I even just eat the noodles with soy and such, with some stir-fried vegetables. Makes a wonderful meal in a salad or if I'm really hungry. But normally I eat once a day, so that pretty much satisfies me. And then I get the rice, white rice, brown rice. I'm more of a brown rice eater, but my family likes white rice and I'll make them happy. There's my vegan jerky cooking. And we have a nice meal going on over here with the pan for the egg rolls that I'm rolling up tonight. Homemade egg rolls, and that's rice. Get that started if you're going to have that for dinner. You should start all your stuff together. And this is what it looks like after it's been boiled for an hour and 30 minutes. And what I do is I peel that all, just peel it. Looks good. And then put it in to flavor it all up. Put it in the oven at 200. And that's about how flat I peel it. Low. About almost 2 hours you can go. Depends on how jerky you want your jerky to be. Meaty, you can make sandwiches, etc. This turns out to be really good. LiquidSmoke on top. Your garlic, salt, pepper, onion powder, whatever you enjoy on the flavor. You put a little bit of ginger, cayenne pepper. I love ginger and cayenne. And I made a lemon, lime powder. And there's my soul food seasoning. You gotta have that in that jerky. Yeah. And then a little bit of olive oil, not too much when you bake it. Yep. And then there we go. Now this is what it looks like after I baked it. And I'm putting on Parish paper so it can dry out. And not be so greasy, or it's not greasy, but you know what I mean. Look more like jerky. You put it back in the oven for about 25 more minutes to 30 minutes. It's your judgment. How well you like your jerky to be crunchy.